Hey fam, welcome back to another episode on the podcast. I am really excited to share this episode. One of the things when starting the podcast, I wanted everything to be done in person, and I knew that that would limit me in a lot of ways with guests, international or living in different places, especially because I live in such a remote place. And my best mate Dan was traveling, and he's like, let's just do a podcast. And I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's jump on Riverside, let's record it, let's get our cameras out. And you know what? It actually turned out to be pretty awesome. I have done them before, but I don't know, this style and setup, and I think the new energy of the podcast just allowed it to flow really well. And yeah, it was a really awesome episode. So Dan Koch is the founder of We Are Sacred, the cacao brand that you see me sharing everywhere, one of the main sponsors of the podcast. And in this episode, we dive deep into the return to Peru and back into the jungle, where he is right now as we recorded this, the mission of Sacred Taste, how the sacred cacao ceremonies began, why we are not self-made, why people feel so disconnected in the world right now, finding and connecting with your soul tribe, the world of individualism, why the mother role is so important and undervalued in today's society, and so much more. We really just wing this whole conversation, and it just went into so many different places. That's actually a really cool conversation that Dan and I normally share, that not many people get to have ears on. So this is one for you all to enjoy and take so many notes from. So we hope you enjoy us rambling, but there's also a lot of value in there too. So sit back and enjoy this episode. Before we kick off this episode, just want to give a little shout out to the podcast sponsors. And I'm just so grateful for the support that I get on this podcast, and to even have sponsors is a really cool thing. Doing what I love and having people support that, companies, brands, products that align with me and my mission. First off, we have Sacred Cacao, Sacred Taste, my favorite brand. I do a lot of work with this brand, this company, and part of the team. So, of course, naturally, I'm going to love them. But they were sponsoring me way before I started working with them. So they have a beautiful cacao drink all the way from the Amazon. There's 5 different flavors. My favorite would have to be the earth flavor, which is just like a beautiful hot chocolate that you can enjoy. I put my almond milk and my little frother, put a scoop of cacao, and it blends it up, and it's just, it's amazing. But here's the thing. There's no processed sugar. There's no silly additives that make it terrible like most hot chocolate or cacao drinks. This is filled with all good stuff. When you look at cacao, you know, it's like the better cousin of coffee. So it doesn't give you a crash. It keeps raising your energy levels, but also opens your heart, which is a beautiful way to start your morning. So go check it out. There's a 10% off your order code. The code is Carlo10. Links will be in the show notes below. Secondly, we have BondCharge, a company that is striving to help optimize you as a human being throughout all the different distractions and harmful things that we can consume on a daily basis, like EMF and radiation, all those types of things. So BondCharge was so kind to give me a pair of those awesome blue blocking glasses, the orange lens ones, and I've wanted them for a long time because I use my devices late into the night. A lot of my creativity and inspiration comes at night. So for me, I have all the things on my phone and on my laptop, but being able to have glasses that I can put on is just a great way to not impact or have these devices impact the sleep that I'm about to have. And I've found a lot of benefits from wearing them, and even just the eye strain, not having to feel so tired looking at screens because I can just put these glasses on and use them. They also have a lot of other awesome products, red light therapy. They also have EMF blocking, beanies, caps, jumpers, headphones. So really cool products. Go check them out. The discount code is Carlo, all in capitals, and get yourself some awesome products to try. And thirdly, we have Shine, the natural energy nootropic drink to help you think, feel, and do better. I'm not someone that will reach for like a Red Bull or something like that, but back in the day, I would, to get those energy boosts. Now I'm always looking for more natural ways, but also companies that are doing good things. And Shine approached me and it just made a lot of sense. I love that they've got ginkgo, L-theanine, turmeric, all these incredible nutrients and ingredients in this drink. So you're getting that kick of energy, but you're also not suffering for it in the long term. So when I'm needing that boost, I'm reaching for a Shine. My favorite flavor in the range would have to be the pink lemonade, the blue lemonade. And honestly, there's so many good flavors. So go check them out. I don't have a discount code for this one, but the team at Shine the products of Shine are literally everywhere. Service stations, supermarkets. Go grab a Shine and you'll taste the difference and you'll know what I'm talking about. Welcome back to another episode on the podcast. This one's a really interesting one because I've got an international guest, former pro DJ turned spiritual cacao entrepreneur, my best mate, and just absolute legend of a guy that was like yesterday, let's jump on a podcast while I'm in international waters. The Wi-Fi is not great, and here we are. Welcome, Dan Koch, back on the podcast.
Cheers. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for having me. And the Wi-Fi is not great and I'm in pitch black, but let's give it a go.
That's what we do, man. I think that's pretty much us in a nutshell. Is like, we've been sorting out technical shit for the past half an hour, but it's like, and an hour ago, you're like, I'm getting a haircut, gotta look fresh. So if you're not joining us on YouTube, you should. Because you get to see Dan's fresh fade, but
100%. It's a good fade, man. He's done well.
I feel like for us, we're man gens, so that explains it. But like, we just do shit. We just do things. We think
we
of
do
it.
A lot
we
of
do
things,
it.
Man. We're always doing something.
Like you're in Peru right now and still doing shit. So what are you doing in Peru?
Man, so I'm here to come back into the jungle to revisit the Ashaninka tribes and the villages from where we get our cacao from. So last time I was here was August 2019. That cacao, this cacao. Oy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the jungle. I'm going to show them what we've done with it and our packaging and just have a look and just make sure that they're all doing okay and that, what we're doing is okay for them. And then to also talk about the future. We've placed a really big emphasis on Criollo cacao. For those that don't know, Criollo cacao is the original cacao strain and actually comes from the Amazon. That's where it first originated. And it only takes up 6% of the market, but it's the only cacao strain that requires the rainforest to grow. And so, we're going to go back there, talk about what we've done, just touch base, see if they're all right, and then also talk about the future because Sacred is scaling to the international market, and we want to make sure that not only they can sustain our growth, but also that this is something that they want for their village to also, to grow with us. And so we're just going to go there and just, double check it's all good and see him again and then, prepare for the future.
Yeah, mad invite, but the...
Come on, man. You're always excited, bro.
I didn't get a formal invitation, but I couldn't come anyway.
We don't need formal invitations, man.
We just rock up. Dan and I have been mates for a couple of years now. I think we got really... It's interesting because the stuff we're going to talk about in this podcast is a lot of like challenging times, failures, things that have helped us get where we are today, but also the things that put us in certain situations, put us into over our life. But we connected really closely over one of those moments that I was going through, and it's crazy that like even during this, when I'm going through a really tough moment in my life, like you're there for me again, and it's crazy to see that through these tough moments, like you've still been able to scale your business. I've still been able to kind of grow my business as well, and I think that's really impressive. And if people want to find out more about Sacred and Cacao, I'll link the interview that we did 2 years ago, to
I'd
find out
like
more
to
about
see that interview again, actually, man. That would be good. That'd be a
it.
massive
I
good.
think we've both grown and gone through a lot of trauma since then, but
100%.
it's all
100%.
experience points. But like, why? Like, it's pretty random. Like, you're in Peru, going back into the jungle. Like, do you need like security? Do you need translators? Like, what's the actual go? I'm sure you're not just gonna rock up and it's a 5-star plantation.
No, definitely not, man. So when I came to the jungle 2 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, um, yeah, when I came 4 years ago, it was just myself, and we didn't have any. There was no hand holding, and I needed to find two translators, someone that spoke English to Spanish, and then someone else that spoke Spanish to Ashaninka. And so yeah, it's a 16-hour bus ride, 7-hour canoe ride down the Amazon, and there's 300 families, indigenous families that grow it and cultivate it in the wild under the forest canopy. And so when I came here last time, yeah, I had to kind of just find the translators. And on my journey, I had a bit of a wild ride trying to find the right people and not get, hijacked. But this time around, after doing 4 years of trading and 4 years of business, it's a much different game now. So, yeah, we're pretty much going to get escorted into the jungle. Yeah, we are going to get 5-star treatment, but once we get into the jungle, you're in the jungle. So you're in a little bungalow, and yeah, it's just you and the forest, Mother Nature, which, to be honest, that's where I feel most at home. I remember last time I went into the jungle, the fear of going in, I wasn't never afraid of the jungle. I was always afraid of just like the transportation in. I remember even on the bus, on the back of the seat, it said, in case of a hijacking, just basically, give them your stuff. And I was like, what the heck is this? 16 hours of like, just waiting. As soon as the
On
bus
edge,
stopped,
yeah.
yeah, the bus stopped, I'm like, hey, what's going on? But, and then after that, it was the car ride, and then it was the boat ride. But yeah, as soon as I touched down on that land, I felt super safe. I felt at home, and I'm really looking forward to going back there. And this time, taking with me a videographer, and Lily, who's been doing the ceremonies with me. So yeah, looking forward to not only going back there and going back to that land, but also sharing it with people, some of my closest friends, and then also sharing it with the world. Last time I actually shot it myself, and I was behind the camera shooting everything. I never even made a video in my life. But this time, yeah, I've got the professionals coming in to really capture the moment and share the essence of what it is, the Ashaninka story, and also the medicine of cacao.
Dude, that'll be magic.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick, man. I'm looking forward to it, eh?
We've got some pretty awesome videos. Like, I was looking back on the Lost Paradise one, and I'm like, yeah, there's been some fun times. Obviously not jungle being in at Lost Paradise, but you know, it was a jungle in that main stage. But yeah, we've done a lot of we've done a lot of stuff together, and even for 2 years of knowing each other, or 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, like, we've been able to achieve a lot, but also do a lot together. And I think that's one of the big things that you bring about is, like, how can we all come together to collectively succeed? Because if we're all trying to do it individually, like, we can only go so far alone, but together we can go so far together. Why? What, were you always like that, or is it just
Yeah, nah, I was definitely always like that. I was always, from a young age, I was always a leader, and yeah, I was always like pulling people together. It's funny because Claire just like sent me a message the other day. She's like, I just learned something new about you, and I'm like, what? She's like, I learned that you started a nature squad in school, and you got people to like collect things from nature for you. I'm like, what the hell? Where the heck did you get that from? And she's like, I read it. It was like on my bio, even on our website, and I didn't even know it because someone else wrote it. Laura wrote it, and and when you mention this now, like bringing people together, this is something that I've done since a very young age, and but bringing people together to do good, I think that's important. And I even remember, like, when I was in high school, or even primary school, I was quite a popular person and I always bring people together, but I never believed in the hierarchy. I remember I would always, if I was there, if I was the captain of a team and I meant to choose my team, I would always choose the person that I thought would get chosen last first. So I'm like, this person's going to get chosen last. I'm going to choose them first. And I would choose my team in reverse order, and we would absolutely lose and get demolished, but we would have the best time and those people would feel so good. And so for me, it's not about winning. It's about enjoying the journey. And I think the win is just in the coming together and just giving it your best and doing your best. And what I love about our friendship circle is that we are all winning, like we are all winners in our own right. But when we come together, we can win collectively. And that's the mission with Sacred is, to bring people back together and to restore the planet to a state of harmony. And we can only really do that if we work together. And so, yeah, that's my ethos and my vision and my values. And, it's beautiful to share a stage with you and DJ together, or a ceremony, or a microphone in a podcast. It's beautiful to do things together. And so, yeah, I think I'm always going to have that mindset of group mentality and group growth. I think it's way better than individual growth.
Yeah, and I think like when it's been a lesson for me. Like I grew up in team sports, so I get that as playing soccer. Even having leadership roles, it was always like, how can we collectively win? And I guess through, running Sala, a wellness app, wellness community, and all the things that I do is like, how can I bring everyone together? I always have a lot of people a part of the one thing that I do, but also there's times where, and I can already like hear your brain smiling, is like times where I'm like, yeah, but I want to succeed myself. I want to prove that I can do this, and I don't need Dan or anyone else to help me. And it's not to say that I don't like the help. It's just, sometimes you want to prove you can do things, and like, yeah, it's been a grounding experience because, like, yes, I know that everyone can be a weapon in what they do, and I think that, I was thinking as you were saying that, and I'm like, what, would you choose me? Would I be the last person, and you choose me first? Thanks, mate. But
I knew you would say that. Man. I knew you would come around to that. I was like, shit, he's gonna put me in the grave with that one.
That's all right. I'll pick you first too for that reason. But it's also interesting because normally someone like you and I, and this is something I had to learn really quickly, was that we'd come together. But I think because we also have we have a mission and a purpose has a positive intention behind it, a pure intention of like, we're actually here to serve humanity. Whereas if ego gets in the way, we would absolutely hate each other. We wouldn't work well together.
Yeah, it's interesting, like you say, like, that part of you that wants to succeed by itself, like by yourself. I was trying to think about like how I feel about that.
Yep.
And it's like, the first thought that came to my head, it's like, oh, well, I already know I can succeed by myself, so why not succeed with others? But then I questioned that thought and I was like, I don't know if I can succeed by myself. Like, I would fucking fail by myself. I would fucking fail miserably without my team, without my fam. So that was an absolute lie. And so I had to correct myself. And then that's what I realized. I actually realized, bro, there's no chance that we can do this on our own. There's no chance. I was on another podcast the other week in Switzerland, and the guy was like, he talked about something about self-made, are these self-made millionaires? And I'm like, bro, there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire unless he is the product, the service, the customer, and the seller. Because to be self-made and to make money, you need customers. So, you need people to buy things off as a supplier. Like, how terrible would that be to be a self-made millionaire? You get all the way to the top and you're by yourself. It's a very lonely road. And so for me, I know individual mentality, and I know community mentality, and I know tribal mentality, and I know as a tribe together we are way stronger when we leverage our strengths and compensate for each other's weaknesses, as opposed to trying to be a whole village by yourself. And so I guess, to correct myself or my own thought, I don't think I could be successful by myself. Even when I was DJing, man, like DJing is it's a one-man sport, basically. It's just you and the decks, that's it. But to be honest, without the crowd, without my friends that came and supported me, I wouldn't have made it to the heights that I made it to. You know, without my boss or my manager that saw my potential and gave me the opportunities, I never would have played at these massive gigs. And so for me, I was always about the community. Even when I got off the decks and I finished DJing, I didn't hang out backstage with the other artists. I got off the decks and went straight to the bar, and I took care of all my friends, and I spent time, with the public. Those who came to see me and who came to enjoy my music, I spent my time with them. So yeah, I guess for me, I've always been about the community, even though I'm introverted as fuck. So it's like a bit of a challenge, but I'm always in for the community, man. And I know that, yeah, we can go much further, faster together and enjoy the process and celebrate the wins along the way. There's nothing worse than celebrating a win and turning around and there's no one there to celebrate with. Best to celebrate with others, man.
And I think it's also the same for the opposite. Like if, it's not a great feeling celebrating by yourself, but also when you're in the worst position by yourself, full transparency, like I said before, I'm going through one of the toughest rock bottoms of my life, right? With a lot of shit going on. And, someone said, I was telling them the other day sort of what was happening, and they're like, we're here for you. And I'm like, you know what? I know there's a lot of people that don't have people that are there for them. And, I've got like yourself, I've got Claire, I've got, a lot of really a few close friends that I can be honest with, be open with. And I told you the other day, I was like, fuck, how I was feeling. I was like, I feel like a failure. I feel like, I'm scared. I feel this, I feel that. And it's like, if I was in that moment by myself, I know that's what leads people to do other things, whether it's harm themselves or go into more of a spiral if they don't have that support around them. So I think having a tribe of people is so important. But how do you find that? How did you find it? I know for me, it was like, I'm going to let you answer it. How did you find that tribe of people, that soul tribe?
No, I want to hear your reflection first. I'm keen to hear. For you?
Mine would be that, honestly, being myself in all the ways and being so honest and open, but also driven as well, not kind of holding back any of those areas, is what has allowed me to attract the people that I have in my life and the quality of the relationships. So when I look at, my close best friends, in the sense of the ones that, are shared on public, so like yourself and Claire, I've just always been so open and honest. Yes, there was that initial click of like, I know this person, my soul knows this person, but we nourished that with honesty, with trust, with genuinely caring about each other. Like, whenever there was a sacred thing, I was there. Whenever I had something, you were there. Like, it's the support that you always, in your head, you're like, that's what friends do. But I never really seen that effort or to that extent until, you and Claire and even Lily and Steve showed up in my life, because, you sometimes have friends that are just friends and you see them every now and again, but you guys were there for everything, man. Like we were cooking you guys dinner when you stayed over, and, you guys were doing stuff for us, and it's like, that's a tribe. That's not just friends, that's a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was me being me, and then also when I felt that soul connection, it was really stepping in and being super honest. You've seen me break down and cry in a men's circle, right? And you've held me through that. You've seen me go through some of the most, like for me, I go, in some points it's embarrassing, like the most failure points in my life, and you've never been there and been like, yeah, you're a dickhead. No, you've just been like, I'm here for you. Yeah, you'll be like, you probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever, we're here. Like, all I can do is support you. And even the opposite, right? There's times where we've both been in a situation, Dalesford, where we've both, that morning, right? This is going to go on a little tangent. After a night of whatever the fuck happened, right? Then
Not whatever the fuck happened, bro.
That's another podcast. That morning, I'm like, there was this really awesome place that we were staying, had a sauna, turned on the sauna, I'm like, I'm just going to sweat it out, I want to be alone. I go back into the sauna like 20 minutes later, and you're fucking sitting there, and I'm like, this is the last person I want to see right now.
100%.
And then we're sitting next to each other, and I was trying to be so like just silent, let me meditate, shut up, and you're like, bro, we've got to talk about this. And you know, that's why our little joke is like, fuck you, but I love you, because even in those moments, it was like we both seen each other in some pretty weird, down, crazy, chaotic times. So yeah, to bring the story back, it was me being myself and then stepping in that little bit further as well to show even more of me. What about you?
Yeah. Well, for me, man, like, it's like I always say, man, it's one thing to be loved when you're showing people your light. It's another thing to be loved when you show people your dark. And, I've had a lot of people around me because I'm always doing something good, something that has a gravitational pull that people want to be a part of. But I think with this tribe and this particular community and yourself especially, what happened at Dalesford was like a massive, massive eye opener for me because for those that don't know, and don't worry, I won't reveal too much. It'll be quite, secretive. But you brought it up, so you opened the door. So I'm gonna walk through.
I'm gonna slam it in your fucking face, bro. Like,
Do it.
Padlock it back.
Padlock it back. Let me just turn this computer on Do Not Disturb so we don't get any emails coming through. But so like I said, it's one thing to be loved when you're showing people your light. It's another thing to be loved when you're showing people your dark. And for those that don't know, at Dalesford, I hired this amazing place, and I actually got it for my mum's birthday. And my mum hadn't been speaking to my brothers for a while, and we got the family together. And I remember I went outside and did this little prayer to the land, and I was just like, we're gonna facilitate a beautiful healing here. I remember I saw like an eagle, a black cockatoo, and I just, pretty much asked the land for a blessing and just said, help me, because, my family's struggling. They're struggling to connect, and, this is a good opportunity for us to come together. Anyway, long story short, my mum comes and we have this massive healing session, and everything was healed.
Hang on, when you say healing session, what is, like, explain that?
Well, for my mum and for my brother, like, in that session, my mum just felt safe, and she just opened up and she expressed what she was going through, etc., etc. And it was really beautiful because I got to help facilitate just a psychological process through that. So it wasn't much in terms of like cacao or anything like that. But then my mum left, and then you guys were meant to come, and we were originally meant to go camping. But the space was so good and it held us so well that I was like, guys, I got a surprise for you. I've booked out this Airbnb. Let's go to it and let's enjoy it. And we all came to the Airbnb. And then, you guys were always kind of like asking me to do a cacao ceremony. But to be honest, I've never really done one. But you guys saw me as the cacao man, and you were like, do a cacao ceremony, brother. Do a cacao ceremony. I kept putting it off. And I was like, oh, fuck you. It's too much pressure. I've never really done one. And then I don't know what happened one night. We started eating like wood-fired pizza. We started handing it around in a circle. Then we started drinking cacao. And then, we just started asking some really deep questions. And as everyone started to answer, we got deeper. And then, the cacao really brought out a lot of truth and a lot of honesty. And, I think Lily or Claire or someone said, why don't we share our deepest, darkest secrets? And I was like, whoa, that was hectic. And everyone started sharing their deepest, darkest secret. And we literally went around in the circle, and I was like the last one. And I remember as everyone started to speak, I was like, I could feel the purge coming on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to share this deep, dark secret. And then by the time it came to me, I remember I threw a few logs on the fire. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go deep. And I'm feeling pretty nauseous right now as I speak about it. But then, I was meant to be like the quote-unquote facilitator, but this ceremony unfolded in a certain way, in a certain framework, in a certain pattern that just made me feel safe enough to reveal myself and release all the things that I'd been holding on to for the past year or so. And it was in doing so, I did full surrender, full vulnerability. I completely laid myself out in front of you guys. And, some of you guys are known for years, and some of you actually knew the secret, and some of you didn't. And some of you were fresh and barely even knew me, but I've completely laid myself out. And, it's really remarkable and beautiful to have you guys hold space. And not only hold space, but to still maintain that friendship with me after. Like some of the greatest things that we feel guilt about, shame about, we feel that people aren't going to accept us, if they knew that. But I was like, man, I need to free myself from this shit. And I just said shared what my deepest, darkest secret was. And, man, I was met with love. And then from that place, I was like, fuck, man, these guys are my ride or die. Like, these guys are going to be there to the end. And the fact that you guys helped me through that, and I was suffering and struggling for, I don't know how long, maybe like a year. And, you guys really released that for me. And from then, I was like, wow, I have a duty and an obligation now that I've been healed to actually provide this service for others. And that's literally how the New Moon Cacao ceremonies were born. We didn't sit there and think about what to do or create it. I was the first person we did our New Moon Cacao ceremony on. And I realized how deep, how profound, how amazing it was to go into the darkness and to reveal it and to share it with others and be received in love. And I feel like that's where, a lot of our healing is. I think we carry the burden of our shame and our guilt and our regrets so closely that it's like poison on the inside. And once we can release that in a safe space, with open hearts using the power of cacao, then, we can create real unity and community. And so, yeah, man, for me, it's about working towards a common goal. Are we in the same alignment? Are we heading to the same destination? Do we share the same values? But also, will you be there for me when times are down and I'm like, ready to give up on myself? Will you guys, not give up on me? And I think that was crucial, and that's what happened. And I think that's why we're such close friends, man.
Yeah. And even like, this is where I think people aspire to friendships like this, and I think it's the depth of connection, and that only comes from vulnerability and being super honest with who you are, where you're at, and actually sharing with you like, hey Dan, like this is what's fucking going on, and like we'll sit and push each other so that we do share everything. But it's, if you don't share those things, then you're really only touching the surface. And that's where it's like, even in the men's circle, right? There was some people there that I didn't know in Torquay, I think it was. Yeah, Torquay in the TP. Yeah. And, there's those moments where I think when you're sharing, whether it's at a men's circle, women's circle, cacao ceremony, and you're like, I don't think I should share that, or I don't think I can. That's normally the times where it was like, I need to share. Like even the other day when I messaged you and I was just like, dude, we need to break free of this system. Like I'm fucking sick of this shit. And I'm sick of like going on this roller coaster. We need to find a different way. If I didn't say that, you wouldn't have been like, yeah, like that's what I'm fucking trying to do. Like that's what we're trying to do. Like it's really simple. It's tough in the moment to go that deep. Like the stuff that happened in Dalesford, like I don't think that, that's happening very regularly, but, and very circumstantial, but, there's moments where, we almost created the space for that to happen. And then we leant into it. There was so many times in that, whatever was happening, where we both could have been like, too much, I'm out.
100%. Like, but that's the thing. Like when I came out of that little session, and that wasn't a little, it was a fucking deep session.
Bro, it was like 11 p.m. till 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
Yeah, it was a good solid like 6 hours for sure. But when I came out of the session, I was like, wow. But I was like really like surprised and mind blown that you actually hung around through it, because you like, that would have triggered the shit out of you. And you're still there, and I was like, damn, this guy's still here, like holding space for me, like what a weapon, and that made me just like, that just fully like built my trust and loyalty. And man, and that we created that space. Like we created the intention, we sat in circle, we did a blessing for our food. We started having deep conversations. I remember it was Georgia that asked the first question. And she's like, turned to me during dinner and she's like, what was your childhood like? And I was like, I'm not gonna answer this lightly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a full story, and end up telling the full story. And then I was like, "What was yours like?" And then she told ours, and then the next person, and then we asked another question, and we just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think that's the problem, man, with a lot of friendships. They don't ask enough questions. They don't, inquire enough. Like I love psychology, and I love, finding out why people are the way that they are. And for me, if someone was to ask me a question, it doesn't matter if you're a stranger or not, I'm going to be so open and so transparent that if you don't like it, then you're not meant to be in my circle. You know what I mean? And the vice versa. Man, a lot of my friends, like, they really do love me, and they really, admire me for my friendship because it's so honest, and they know that when they come to me, they're gonna get an honest reflection. Like if someone feels like they're doing something wrong and don't know what it is, they'll come to me and I'll be like, well, do you want me to reflect it to you? Like, yeah. But a lot of people want to avoid that because they want to avoid the truth, and sometimes the truth is what really hurts, but it's what will set you free. And so I feel like what we've created and the culture we've created within our community is a space where we don't let you get away with shit. If you say that your dream is this and your goal is this and you want to be or you want to do that, if your actions aren't in alignment with that, we're going to pull you up, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and you may not like it, and you may say, fuck you, I love you, but fuck you, right? You might be like, fuck off. But at the end of the day, that's what a true friend is. A true friend is someone who is willing to have the difficult conversations, especially when it's hard, and I'm going to continue to do that for my friends, because I wouldn't consider myself a friend if I saw something that I felt they were doing which is detrimental to their life and I didn't say anything. What kind of friend would that be? That's just being a coward. And so I'm not afraid to lose friendships from saying the truth, but I've learned how to say it with a lot more love, so it can be received a bit better, without judgment. And so, yeah, man, I feel like that's important within our friendships. And Steve does the same thing. Claire does the same thing. Lily does the same thing. And I feel like when you have people around you telling you the truth, not just what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, then that's when, like, you can truly be vulnerable, be seen, be held, and be accepted, and have faith in your community.
Yeah. But how do people go about finding this? Because like this is a question that I get where it's like, I've got people that admire like our friendship and our tribe that we've got, and it's taken a lot of fucking work to get to that point, and to a lot of deep experiences, but also a lot of trusting and a lot of showing up for each other and a lot of effort. Not effort in the way of you need to do this for me, but it's like showing up regardless of I don't place any expectations on my friends, but the effort that people do put in, you go, okay, well, this is a bit different than someone that just says they're going to be there but isn't. So how does someone find those people? Like that's
Man,
what I'm curious about.
getting full shivers as I'm about to, express this answer. And the truth, man, in honesty, is so simple, and as cliche as it may sound, it's love, man. Like, love would make you do anything. Love would make you go to the end of the world for somebody that you love. You guys all came to Lost Paradise, drove like, I don't know how many hours, 16 hours or something in the middle of the night, came to Lost Paradise and set up a full bar for Sacred and ran it for like 5 days, and then went back home over New Year's for love. And, just after that, we came to Mildura to help you open up your space because we loved you. If you truly love someone, you'll do anything for them. And I think for me anyway, in my perspective, I think there's a bit of a deviation from that in this mainstream culture right now, where everyone's talking about self-love and boundaries. Love is boundless, and love doesn't have boundaries. And so if you were to say to me, Dan, I need you to come to like Spain for 2 seconds, I'd be like, all right, done. Let's do it. Like, of course, let's do it. And, when you love like that and you give love like that, and you have friends around you who also receive and give love like that too, like, man, I can count on you guys to do anything. Like, even when I got told I was meant to go to Bali for this conference, and I had an event on in Canberra over the weekend, and I said, look, I'm going to fly out on Monday. And the guy was like, bro, we really need you on Sunday. That's when the ceremony is. He's like, can you make arrangements? I'm like, well, the truth is, of course, I'm being impeccable with my word. Yes, I can make arrangements. Let me just send out a message. I sent 2 messages, one to Claire, one to Dion. Hey, guys, I'm not going to be able to make the market as intended in Canberra. I've been asked to go to Bali early. Do you think you guys could, cover for me? And they both said straight away, of course, done. And Claire drove 12 hours from Melbourne to like Canberra, or 9 hours or whatever it is. And Dion drove like 18 hours from Queensland to Canberra just so I could go to Bali and do this event. And who does that, man? Like, who does that? You would only do that if you truly loved those people you were doing it for. And I feel a lot of love in that. And I would do the same for my friends as well. I would drive to Mildura, all through the night to be there for an event or to support you in any way possible. Or if there was an emergency, I would drop everything and come. That's how you know you are loved. That's how you know you have true community. If someone's like, oh, no, it's inconvenient for me, or no, it's going to mess up with my plans, then you're just an individual again. You're not a community. Yeah. And I feel like that's missing in society with all this, self-love, set your boundaries, da-da-da. I feel like we're going in the opposite direction of where we're meant to be, and I think where we're meant to be is in communities and with love and like, a beautiful culture, as opposed to this like, the century of the self and individualism and self-made and, all of that independent one person.
If I was having boundaries and focusing on self-love, I wouldn't have attended any sacred events last year and only had 4 hours sleep every Saturday because of parties. I was driving 2 hours to get to Point Addis to help you DJ and serve cacao.
100%.
Until 12, you guys would stay and pack up even later. So like 1 a.m, drive an hour and a half, 2 hours back home, 3 a.m, wake up at 5 to then go set up for Cold and Conscious for Steve at Altona. And mate, like I swear last year we had the least amount of sleep in my life. That's why both of us are getting greys. And yeah. But also I wouldn't have traded it for anything because like it was an epic year. But that's out of love, right? Would you do that for someone you don't know? Probably. You'd probably like, I've got some things to do tomorrow. But for you guys and for what we were doing together, there was no monetary gain for me in any of that.
There was
really
zero monetary gain.
Directly, no. Like, you weren't paying me, and Steve, at that point, Steve really wasn't either. But it was family, like as if we wouldn't go support.
100%, man. There's no way. Like there's no way that I would charge you for my services, or you would even charge me. But if the money did come in and we made a profit, we would like, okay, cool. We would split it. But but it was never like, oh yeah, can you come and DJ and I'll give you 200, like again, like if you have to say, can you come and DJ and I'll give you $200, that's transactional. That's not love. Like you wouldn't do that to your brother or, your mother or whatever, you know what I mean? Just be like, can you do this for me? Yeah, of course, 100%. Like I've got your back. You know what I mean?
I've got an invoice sitting here on Xero waiting for you, bro. Like,
you got an invoice for me? Okay, so when I make enough money, just press send.
It's 120. It's 120,000.
$1,000 an hour you're charging, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
I've got you down in 120 hours, man.
I think it was about 500 hours, but anyway.
Same. But who's
yeah, you're like same. So who's counting?
Who's counting, bro?
Show me a spreadsheet, bro. Show me a spreadsheet.
I've got it on a spreadsheet, man. But I feel like that's what's missing, man. And I feel like modern society is actually, cultivating, isolation and individualism and this culture where people are meant to be successful by themselves. Even think about the family unit. Back in the day, we used to have like, the mothers would stay at home and look after the kids while the fathers would go to work. Now it's like the mother feels like she's nobody unless she's somebody, and the only reason way she can be somebody is if she's successful at some sort of career. And so now the kids are getting put in daycare while the mums and dads are going to work. So the mum is being successful, the dad is being successful, the child is going to daycare, doesn't feel the love it needs, and so it feels like, wow, for me to feel love, I need to be successful. And then we've created this culture of, if you're successful, then you receive love. Whereas before, it was just like you were just loved just by being born, like, which is enough. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this is a bad habit that society is putting on us. And, you know, even before that, individualism, it used to be the nuclear family. And then before that, it was like, you know, families would live together, like groups of families in little communities. And then before that, it was a tribe or a village. And so I feel like we're going all the way to being individual. Like even now, people aren't even having children. People are not even getting into relationships. You know, people are just really comfortable just by themselves. They're completely independent. And yeah, that sounds great and everything, but also it sounds pretty terrible. So I prefer to work in communities and run in packs and have my partner with me, you know, creating amazing things and creating beautiful memories. Like that's, for me, that's what it's all about.
This is a really interesting topic and something we didn't preempt. And like I've heard many different things about this, and I've even heard of you know, on different podcasts where they're sharing where one guy had a friend from a different background, different culture, and he was working at like a normal job, but he was driving like a really nice car, and the guy as a teenager, and the guy was like, "How can you afford that?" And he's like, "Well, we don't. Our family all lives together. Like me, my brothers, it wasn't a teenager, sorry, in his 20s. Me, my brothers all have wives, and we still live at home with our mum, and we put all our money together. We buy that house, but we buy multiple properties. When we have a car, we share that car. We don't have 6 cars and 6 mortgages, between, like all individual and all struggle. We all come together and we all live together." And I think that, like, in theory, in my head, I go, that sounds good, but like obviously, you know, there'd be a challenge of like the dynamic of living together, but it doesn't mean you live in the same room together. Like when like you guys did it last year, you, Claire, Steve, even though you guys were barely even in the house, but it's like, yeah, I think the boundaries thing, like in a situation like that is, yeah, you have space to yourself and you know when there's times of space, like, but at the same time, what you're saying, like, it would solve a lot of our problems, where a lot of the problems of feeling alone, a lot of the problems of feeling so disconnected. You know, when mothers were staying home, they didn't stay home going, I don't have a purpose. They were staying home going, I'm looking after my children. That is 100%. My purpose. And it wasn't for Instagram to look XYZ. Well, really, yeah. Like, and it's not to say that you can't be the dad and stay home, like, or whatever your situation is. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a provider, and there's nothing wrong with being a carer in both sides to it. Just like there's nothing wrong with whatever job or career you choose to do. I think it's society and social media and the Forbes top 100 list has put these ideas where, and don't get me wrong, me and you want to do lots of things, and we want to be successful in the ways of helping communities and making a lot of money so that we can help even more. But it's also with family as one of the highest values in there.
100%, man, and you hit the nail on the head, and there's a lot to unpack in that. And so, you know, for me, yeah, being a provider as a masculine male, that is my highest of high roles. I mean, I have no one to provide for right now. I have no partner, I have no children, but this is my motivation moving forward. Like, I mean, if I was to just take care of myself, I probably wouldn't work as hard, because I'd just be happy just to chill and live quite humbly. You know, I live out of a bus or a van, like I've got multiple vehicles, but I love my freedom, so I'm happy to do that. But the thought of, you know, meeting someone and having a partner and then raising a family, you know, that puts a lot of pressure on me as a provider. And there's no way that I want my partner to either have to work or, you know, want to work. I want her to be able to do whatever she wants. And so, you know, I'm working very hard now. So, you know, when the right time comes where I meet that partner, or, you know, we unite, I would be super keen to be that provider. Because for me, I'm the provider. I'm the servant to that woman, because for me, the highest role in the world and the highest job you can do is be a mother. That's like the most important role. We are here because of our mothers. Without them, we wouldn't be here. They have literally birthed us into this existence. There is nothing more important. There is no role more important than being a mother. And I feel that being a mother is actually not as highly revered or as regarded as it should be. And like, in parallel to that, similar to with our elders used to be highly revered. Now they're just chucked in a nursing home and like fed pills until until they pass of just loneliness. And then our kids, who used to actually hang out with our elders, like our grandparents used to take care of our kids and used to, imbue their ethos and their views and their values and their traditions of, respect and gratitude and whatnot to the kids. And the kids would learn from their elders and would inherit some of those traditions, while the middle-aged, mother and father either went to work, hunted berries and collected kills or whatever the case may be. But that's all gone. That's all gone. And they used to all live in the same village or under the same roof, and they would all not feel alone. They would feel like they're a part of a community, the community of their own family. And, like you said, it would be difficult in a house with 5 brothers and their partners and mothers and this and that. But I think what's different, and I know you're talking about, it was Andrew Tate who actually said that one, but he said it was a Muslim family. And, in a Muslim family and in, non-Western cultures, respect is a massive part of the culture. And if you have respect, then you generally give space and you generally keep your shit to yourself and you deal with it. It's not all about you. But unfortunately, in Western society and Western culture, that respect is not given. It's more of an entitlement. And, you push your limits and you push your boundaries and you fight with your mother, you fight with your father, and you don't have as much respect. You talk back. And I feel that what's happened now is kind of like, a result of that, or at least, somewhat, cyclical in its behavior. But, to be honest, I've always said this to my family, even though my family split when I was very young. My mum left when I was 14, my dad left when I was 16. But since a young age, like even since 16, I was with my older brother and I was like, bro, why don't we work together and buy this house or, rent this house? Or even my mum, I'm like, why don't we all work together, save some money and buy a house? But no one really wanted to do that. No one really wanted to work with me. And so I was like, oh shit, well, I better go do it on my own. But I didn't want to do it on my own, so basically I enlisted a tribe and a family to do it. And now it's really beautiful because all my friends who are within my friendship circle, including you, we're all entrepreneurs. I mean, we weren't always all like that. Some of us, I met you, you were already doing it. But, for example, when I met Lily, she was like stuck in the system and she was like, got a job. But since meeting me and being in my circle, it's very hard to stay in a 9 to 5 unless it's your destiny and your dream. And so every single person that I know within my field is actually broken free of the 9 to 5 and are actually doing what they love. And when we do what we love, that's when I feel like the world will know peace. And so when we are an entrepreneur and we're building a business, we understand the value of teamwork. When you're a staff member and you're just doing your job, you do your job, you check in, you check out, you go home, you get your paycheck, that's all individual. You can work in a team, of course, but when you're an entrepreneur, you really begin to realize the value of every single person around you and how they can support you and how you need your team. You need your accountant, your lawyer, your friends, whatever it might be. And I think from that mentality, it is a bit more of a survival mentality, but also like how can we thrive as a community? And I feel like that's where the mindset comes in. I feel like a lot of people who may not have found their tribe may not have actually found what they're here to do and what their purpose is. When you find your purpose and you find out what you love and you find your gift and you start sharing it, people are going to gravitate towards you. If you're just living a mundane life and just going 9 to 5 and checking in, checking out, and then partying on the weekends or whatever, you're not going to find people that are going to be in alignment with your path. So, to answer your question, how do you find a community like this? We've all found each other because we've all found our path and our purpose. And when we met, it's like our path and our purpose aligns. So why wouldn't we work together? you know? And we've done enough work to put our ego aside where we don't compete with each other, but we actually collaborate with each other. And I think that's the next, important step on that journey. So I think first and foremost, find out who you are, why you're here, start doing it, and then you watch. People will fall off, but the real people will come and they'll gravitate, and yeah, you'll be aware enough to know that they should stay.
Are you answering the question from like 31 minutes ago?
Yep.
Jeez, we went on a rant there.
I'm gonna answer all the questions, bro.
Bro, we went to tribes, we went to Dalesford, we went everywhere.
Well, you asked how do people find
yeah.
the tribe? How do they find it? It's like, man, people just think that they're gonna plug into a tribe, but they're not. To be in a tribe, you actually have to know what value you're gonna add to that tribe, and also what type of tribe. Is it a tribe that drinks alcohol and parties every weekend, or is it a tribe that wants to do good for the world? Is it a tribe that values, is it in alignment with your values? And how can you add value to that tribe?
I also think along that way, like as much as, I don't want to lose you guys in any of the sense, because it is such a strong bond. I don't think that would happen, but there's been times where, and I don't know for you, where I've lost a lot of people that were close to me at one stage, or were my best friend in business, and that went, there was an error there, and now, blocked, deleted, don't speak, and that's unfortunate, and you never think these things are going to happen, but I think along the way, like, those things had to happen in order for me to fall into, this friendship circle that I have now. Like, look at all the people that even part of, like, whether it's Sacred, Sala, everything that we've done, like, that were there and then have fallen off because, it's whether they brought in certain expectations or any reason, high or low. It's like you the true people will stay there. The tribe will stay there.
Well, to be honest, I just came back from this conference where they're talking about building communities and, like eco communities and things like that. And basically one thing that I learned from that space is that there's different levels of consciousness. And, there's obviously like super enlightened, and then there's people that are completely, fear-based. And there's different layers, like, from like fear to love and, all these sorts of different levels. And, when there's a group of people and they're all on the same level and on the same vibration, on the same frequency, at the same level of consciousness, everything's beautiful. Yeah. But if a small portion of that group or 50% of that group start to actually level up their consciousness, it's fine if it's like here because it's still like incoherence. But as soon as it starts to separate and go like this, that's when it falls off. And, everybody evolves at different stages, at different paces. And, I've been someone in my field, I've actually, cycled through a lot of different friendship groups. And I'm not trying to like evolve my consciousness. I'm just trying to be myself and enjoy the ride. But the ride is taking me, to some pretty special places. But that's actually what happens. And I feel like, there's many people that have dropped off. There's no animosity or anything like that. Absolutely love them. I think they're beautiful human beings, and I would still love to be in their friendship circle. But when we hang out and get together, the conversation is stuff I wouldn't talk about, and so it's a bit more difficult because we're on a different wavelength. And, my only hope is that with the tribe that we've created, that one of our values is growth, and we continue to grow together. Because as soon as one of us says, "No, you know what? That's enough growth for me right now," the rest will continue to grow, and that person will fall off. But yeah, for me, it's always about growth and connection and contribution. And I think that's what we do with our businesses. We teach people how to grow, how to connect, and the whole thing is about contribution and service to others, service to humanity. And for me, as long as people in my circle are doing that, we're always going to be friends, because I'll always want to be a part of that and to give my service and contribution to that as well.
Yeah, I love it. And along those ways, like we said yesterday, we're going to talk about our failures. So,
what's that?
we said yesterday we're going to talk about our failures. So, or maybe we could save that for the next podcast. But what? Because there's going to be many of these. Like I love this sort of. Me and you are going to have a lot of these because it's like, one, we love the content, but two, but we've just got so much to talk about. I think one podcast a year is just definitely not enough. What have you got in the pipeline? Where are you at right now, and what's moving forward? I think a lot of people, listen to this or listen to what we do and what we're doing, and they're waiting and watching and curious to what we do. What's on the vision for you?
And I've got a very big vision. Like my vision goes to pretty much till 2030. And what we're doing now, we're definitely on pace to hitting that. My vision is to basically build multiple platforms and businesses that people can jump on. I have a habit and a knack for creating strategies and creating businesses that really do work and can work, without me involved as well. It can work in isolation. But to keep it relevant to what the community already knows, with Sacred, I've just come back from Switzerland where, we've actually brought on a lot of distributors there, and we're doing parties and ceremonies. We're in multiple countries. I've come back to Peru. But for me, like my focus for the next few years is just to really focus on this business, and to really take it to the world. Before it was just a belief that, I could be done, but I never really knew if it was possible. But now we've like broken through the barrier. It's beautiful. Like we're not even going out and doing acquisition or outreach. Like people are coming to us. Some of the biggest brands in the world are coming to us. And, that's a testament to the hard work and the dedication that I've put in for so many years. And within this business alone, I've faced so many challenges and so many difficulties and so many obstacles, and to have gone through all of those and continued, I think is a testament to my new character. Because my old character, similar to you as a manifesting generator, man, if one thing gets hard, I'll just go start something else, and I have a habit of starting multiple things but never finishing one. And so it's beautiful to continue with this business, and I'm grateful that Sacred has so many aspects to it: the products, the services, the ceremonies, the parties, even the new online stuff we're about to do. For me, I'm very grateful that it's got so much weight into it, because I'm not getting bored of it, and I'm just grateful that it's taken me around the world now. And so for us, pretty much introducing Sacred to the global market, wrapping it all around the world, creating parties, creating ceremonies for everyone to come together and enjoy, and to build an online global community where like-minded and heart-centered people can come together and meet people, such as yourself, so we can find each other, because, we are all out there. And to support people in achieving their own dreams and their own visions. How about yourself, man? What you got? What's on the cards for you, bro?
Well, I think definitely right now in a very interesting transition period of life and business, and a lot of that's the biggest parts of my life is life and business. So to have a lot of big challenges in both of those has made life very interesting right now. But like I said, I'm grateful to have my friends around me that have been supporting me through this time. And as much as I'm going through it, and it is really tough and challenging, it's also like I know this is leading towards the next thing, or leading towards the next element of growth, or the next part of my journey. And I'll look back in hindsight and be like, oh, I needed to go through that. But right now, like for the past year, been running Sala, and that's coming to a close or a pause at the moment. The hub that I've had for 6 months, closing that in a week. Financially, it hasn't been working, and I think that's a part where people don't understand in business, brick and mortar businesses. This happens too. If things aren't profiting, then it's costing you. So that's been a big challenge in closing that, but it's also opened more space to do more work in bringing back the podcast. Like, this was something that, I did consistently for 4 years, and, got to speak to, incredible people and got to travel with it as well. And I think once I fell out of alignment with the thing that I love most and started doing other things because of, whatever it was, shiny objects or whatever, I lost a bit of who I am. I lost that passion and that drive. And now that I'm back into it, I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to be doing. So doing more of this, helping you obviously with yours and getting your shit together online, because up until 3 months ago, you had 0 posts online, and now we can just elevate that. And we're just like, we speak about this, and I'm sure we can share this, is like, we're trying to get ourselves out there. Like, I see a lot of people in the media or on social media that are getting huge on social media for ridiculous reasons, and for being on fucking Love Island, like, and talking shit. So I'm like,
let's not go there, man. We both did get invited to go on to that.
I got the phone call. I declined. You actually went into interviews, but we can't even talk about that, bro.
What do you mean we can't talk about it? Well, you said that.
Didn't you sign a contract?
Nah, bro. I didn't sign any contracts, man. We still went out there, bro.
Good man. I feel like there should be and we'll create this, a TV show where it's like conscious this stuff. I don't know if it'd be called maths, but ceremony at first sight. But really for me, it's like I both of us, we're both ideas people. So for me, joining forces with you is something that is really exciting, because together, like you said, together we can do a lot more. And I'm excited to help Sacred and help yourself get out there more. And we're both just trying to reach a lot more people and share a good message that we have. Like, everything that we spoke about today is really good, and it's I get quite a few listeners on the podcast, but what if a lot more people heard this? What if a lot more people got to have those seeds planted in their mind? What impact would that have on themselves, their family, their community, the world? So for me, moving forward is like, first and foremost, I've also got to look after myself in a lot of different things where I was giving a lot, give back to myself. So really focusing on my health, my financial wealth and health, and things close to home. And then from there, it's really expanding on the things that I love doing and I want to share, which is my 8-week conscious blueprint program, inspired blueprint, and the podcast, and then all the stuff that we've got planned, which is with like-minded, and bringing like-minded people together and bringing them in a platform where there's no algorithms, there's no none of the bullshit that we see on all these other platforms. And that's why it's designed that way, to keep people in it, to then keep people dumb and focusing on the shit that doesn't matter. So yeah, it's like, even if you're listening right now or watching right now, I'm sure you're nodding your head like, yeah, like that sounds like me too. You wouldn't be listening to this otherwise. You would have cut out a long time ago and started watching maths. But the I think this is the turn that, like, we both don't do this from a place of, I just want to be famous. Like, there's a bit of me that's like, yeah, I want to get to that point, but also from a place of so that my message can be heard, not from so I can make the most money.
100%. It's the same with me. I don't really care. Actually, to be honest, I don't want the fame. And even on my
take it, bro. Give it to me.
Take the fame, bro. Like, take the fame, man. I don't even want to run my own Instagram. Like, I would love for you to run it for me, or someone to run it for me, because
this is the thing, bro. You just need some pictures, bro. The videos are great, but you need some of you on there.
Pictures, come on, man.
Take a selfie, bro.
Dude, come on. I've never taken a selfie in my life. I'm not going to be taking a selfie. And the funny thing is, man, I actually live like quite an extraordinary life. Like, bro, it's been from Bali to Switzerland to Peru,
and no one knows.
And no one knows a thing. And I'm like, I've got these videos where it's like, it's beautiful scenery and whatnot, but I'm like, man, I really should have posted that. But it's like, I really can't be bothered. I would rather pay someone to follow me around and do it for me than do it myself, because I just want to be focused.
I feel like in this world right now, like, what do you do? Like, we're on social media. Like, if we don't post, we don't get seen. We don't get seen, our message doesn't get heard. But like,
I don't know. It's to be honest, man, I actually like, I'm literally half mine. I mean, I did. I mean, I paid someone to follow me around last year, but it didn't quite translate to, you know, being on getting it out there. But I'll give it another shot. Pay someone to follow me around, take videos, enjoy the lifestyle, and share the message. Because yeah, that's for me. It's like, man, I just want the message to be heard, and whatever messages I do put out there. Whenever I meet someone, like I met someone in Switzerland and had so many conversations and just asked them the question like like the general questions are who are you, what do you do, and they tell me about their job, and it's like, well, what's your dream, like what would you want to do, and then they're like, oh, either I haven't thought about that or I'd really love to do this, and then I take them on a journey within 10 minutes and we identify their dream, and then they're like, well, why haven't you done it, and they're like, oh, because I got to pay my bills, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, do you know how much money you need to survive? They're like, nah. I'm like, well, here's a spreadsheet. Boom. Now they know how much money they need to survive. It's like, oh my gosh, that's actually achievable. I could do this with my business. Like if I made a business, I'm like, I know. And then we can literally come up with the products or services and how many they would need to sell in order to live their survival of their best life and literally break them free. Like, man, that's a fucking beautiful life. And so, for me, I would love to be able to help as many people as I can do that. And yeah, unfortunately, social media is a tool to do that, but I haven't been utilizing it very well. So hence why
until now.
Yes.
Until now. And this is the thing, like this is why, like we were talking about this the other day, why we work so well, because like my 8 weeks is all about helping people connect back into who they really are, so that finding your purpose, more connection to yourself, connection to your purpose, and creating the life you want to live, right? Through forgiveness, through gratitude, through compassion, through all these different processes that through nearly 400 people have been through in the past 4 years with me. And then it's like, then the next step is where you come in and so beautifully put it, where it's like, okay, let's actually, you've discovered your purpose, and then you're like, oh shit, like I'm in a situation where I am doing it, but not in the way that I want to be doing it. And then you go, okay, here's the strategy for it. And I think that's a big part that a lot of people miss. I think a lot of people jump too quick to what they see on Instagram, where it's like, be the XYZ, and it's like, well, let's take the journey together. Let's sit in a few ceremonies. Let's work through some stuff along the way, but then also have a strategy there to actually do it, because business can be really tough, right? And we've been blessed with a lot of success along the way, but also that's come with a lot of behind the scenes that no one sees.
100%, 100%. And to be honest, business is going to be the one thing, aside from an intimate relationship that you really care about. Business is going to be the thing that's going to expose your weaknesses to you. It's going to expose where your shortcomings are, like where your shortfalls are, and it's like public. You know what I mean? So it's difficult because then the ego gets involved and it's worried about what other people thinks. But to be honest, I mean, myself personally, I don't really care. Like if I lose sacred tomorrow, I'll just be like, cool, what's next? But for me, it's just a game, and I like playing the game, and and so far so good. Like we're becoming very successful, and we're achieving targets and milestones that, man, I only dreamt of achieving, and we're starting to achieve that now. And I think it's really beautiful, just actually observing myself, like since achieving it in the past few months, especially, I'm now bringing my friends together with me on this journey in a financial way too, and yeah, it's true. That's really special, and I really do look forward to sharing this journey with you and with Lily and with Claire and with Jess and with anybody else who wants to come on this journey with us. It's actually been a very beautiful ride, and I really do see us getting to that final destination. Where we can create a bit more harmony on this earth. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, there's so much to look forward to, and I think that because we are so driven and we do have such a long-term vision, it's like we'll sometimes take the sidestep in the things that we have, whether there's a challenge or whatever, but we're always kind of consistent on that's the vision. And that's what I think really resonates with all of us, is that we all have that common mission and goal, and if sacred's the vehicle for that, then sacred's the vehicle. But like you were saying, like when we bring all of us together, that's when you create a team that's unstoppable. And it's like, it goes back to soccer, right? You don't necessarily have to have the best players, but if the players that you have all do their job and also work together, you can beat any team. And I've, man, proven that so many years of my life playing in teams that weren't the best team on paper, but we won everything because we played well together and we worked well together with the common mission.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not necessarily that, we all have to come on board with Sacred. Like, Sacred is just one vehicle that's going to a destination. And the beautiful thing is like everyone else who is working for Sacred has something of their own going for them. And if we can help Sacred break through the ceilings, which are so hard to break through, like, $1 million of revenue, multi-million dollars worth of revenue, like breaking through those ceilings, international exposure.
Which is coming up.
Bro, man, I'm happy to say, let me think about it. Yeah, we're pretty much there, man. Like, we're definitely going to crack that ceiling this year. It's already on that trajectory to being super expansive. But like, once we break through those ceilings, then it's very easy to allow the other businesses to come straight through. Like, Sacred has, man, Sacred has taken so many blows. Like, it's just been punished, but it's such like a weapon because it just keeps going and it just doesn't stop. And I love it because once it breaks through all the barriers, and even myself personally, once I break through my own limiting beliefs about running a multi-million-dollar business, or even like, multiple teams across multiple continents, and having everyone come together, I think for me, once we learn how to do that and become the character that can create a multi-million-dollar business, then we have the knowledge and the information that I can pass down to the next person to do the same. And I know that most of my people within my friendship circle have achieved the same heights that I've achieved in my business journey. And so I know that if, as far as I can take it, I know I can take everybody else. And they say, yeah, a rising tide lifts all boats. And Sacred is like, he's the pioneer in that rising tide. And so I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for the journey. I'm so like, it's full circle, man. I'm actually like going through, it's a bit of an emotional kind of position, back in Peru, man, where it all started. This journey literally was it's only been a 4-year journey. We only really went to market in February 2021. So it's only been 2 years in the market. And we're already, yeah, man, like, dude, like seriously, like, we started in 2017, but I didn't take it seriously until I went into the jungle. When I went into the jungle, I came back out, COVID happened, and we only really put it into proper packaging in February 2021. And now it's July 2023. So like 2.5 years, and we're already like right at the top, like right at the cusp of being the biggest cacao brand in Australia, like, if not the world. And we're definitely not showing any signs of slowing down. In fact, we're expanding rapidly, and pretty soon we will be, probably the #1 cacao brand in the world in our field, drinking cacao, 4 flavors, superfoods, ceremonial events, and for, the best thing is that it's wild crafted and helps the environment, helps preserve the rainforest rather than destroy it. So, man, I'm all about it. So, and at the end of the journey, man, if we can raise enough capital and protect 1 million acres of Amazon rainforest, and at the end of it, buy a little piece of the rainforest for ourselves to enjoy and for our community to have and experience and to share and to preserve and to protect, then that's a goal worth fighting for. So all the challenges, all the issues, all the times where I thought I was going to give up, I'm very grateful that we've kept going, and I'm very excited about going back into this jungle in the next few days and seeing how it's going in there, man. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, definitely look forward to all the videos and photos. And literally, when this gets uploaded, like, you'll be in the jungle. So I don't know how your Wi-Fi is going to be, but I expect some photos and videos on WhatsApp.
Man, everyone's asking me for photos and videos. I haven't done any yet, but luckily I've got a cameraman.
I just get photos of you in the barber shop getting a haircut.
Good faith, bro. You asked me where I was. I had to show you, bro. He was giving me the full treatment, man. Like, full massage.
Beard, everything.
cacao, everything. Yeah, bro, it was amazing.
What do they speak over in Peru?
Spanish.
Ah,
It's such a
hablas
beautiful.
English.
It's such a beautiful language, man. Like I'm actually picking it,
¿Cómo,
it up a lot.
cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Yes, tú. Ah, sí, sí.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. Thanks for joining me, bro. Even what's the time there? Like 11 p.m.
20 past 11 right now.
Pwah. Crazy, man.
But
Appreciate
I enjoyed
you,
this, man. It's actually quite easy on Riverside. I really liked it. Next time you're gonna have to jump on my podcast and we can unpack some shit.
bro. We've recorded with you once before, and that's still back in the when I had blonde hair, bro. That's still just
Okay.
sitting there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna record it, but then you
I
can
actually
cut it up.
interviewed you. I don't even know where that is.
No, you interviewed me as well, and I interviewed you.
Where is that content?
See, this is the thing, man.
But also, I didn't release a podcast for 6 months, and I recorded podcasts, and I was like, I'm sorry, guys, like that. It's over 6 months old, and like we're not even the same people anymore. But
It wasn't relevant.
that's all right. It's there's a lot more from both of us coming out, where like content, YouTube, all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's also a legacy that we both want to leave of like sharing this journey, and also having these little checkpoints. You know, whether it's once a month or quarter or whatever, where we're checking in and sharing what's happening. Because otherwise, good luck trying to see it on social media with the algorithm. But on the other side is like we've both got communities. I've got the Inspired Collective. You can jump in there. We're going to be in there a lot more active, and then Sacred will have its own community and like-minded. So lots to keep up to date on and be involved in if you want to be a part of all this fun stuff. We've got a party coming up, a full moon party in Melbourne, which is going to be really awesome. Great to be back behind the decks. Dan won't be there for it, but that's all right. We'll hold the
I'll be
fort.
there for the next one, man. I'll be there for the next one. Before, and then we got to go to Nepal. We go to Nepal, and then we go to India, and maybe Sri Lanka, and we'll do parties and
And
ceremonies.
then back to Melbourne after that. Or is that after Melbourne?
No. So I'm gonna go from Peru to Switzerland for 6 weeks, and then I'll come back to Melbourne for maybe 2 weeks just to see you guys and have a party and actually like sort out all my vans. Like all these vans, gotta sell them or do something or donate them or whatever. And then I'll be going to Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, and then from there I'm not too sure, man. I might not come home. I might just go back to Switzerland and stay in Switzerland until Christmas, and then come back for Lost Paradise. I'll definitely be there for that. By the way, we're locked in for that, by the way. Lock it in.
There's not even a discussion of like, hey, like this would be a great idea. I was like, oh, are we saying yes to this? Because I'd have to organise my life, but
We have to say yes. You know what? 'Cause they're offering us a stage. And
no
a stru-
way. No
Yeah, bro.
way.
Yeah, bro.
Legit.
Yeah, legit. They're offering us a structure and a stage. We don't have to bring a structure. They're going to build the structure for us, man, and integrate us into it.
Do you need these bars or I'm going to throw them?
You can, bro. You're probably going to have to. You can
Oh
probably.
yeah, I'm just going to have to drive halfway across the country just to deliver them to Lost Paradise.
It's all right.
Just put your bed on top, bro. Just sleep on top of them like I did last time.
I built you a great bed out of those pallets, man.
Well, see, this is why. If anyone's listening that wants to literally, oh look at that, 222. Saturday, 22nd of July, 2:22 p.m. If you want to follow us around and actually record this stuff, because we get up to some crazy. You know what? I shared my first camping experience, like camping in a swag, with Daniel Koch. So very
Welcome to the jungle, my man.
very
Welcome to the
memorial part of my life. But if someone wants to follow us around and be a part of all this, but also just film it and take this content, it's actually a pretty interesting life that we live. Like, I try to explain it to people, and I only get to level 1 of level 100, 100 levels, and they're like, whoa, that's so different to just working a job. And it's like, yeah, wait till you hear the rest of it.
Yeah, man. Every day is a different day. No 2 days are the same. I don't even know where I'm sleeping like half the time. I don't know where I'm going to be staying. But I mean,
That's why we all have vans, so just in case we can just
yeah, yeah. But now I've just got a backpack now, and I just take this backpack with me wherever I go.
backpack that doesn't even have a ring light, or
I
Yeah,
need to get this
tripod.
ring light, bro. This would be
You need a
essential.
tripod. I got a tripod that's like this big, folds down to this big, and then you can. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. I need to get some. I need to get some more tools for sure.
we'll get
But
onto
yeah, man,
it.
that was a good chat. I think
Thank you.
let's do this again. And next time, I'm gonna interview you, and we're gonna unpack something. We're gonna
Are
unpack
we?
some things. I don't know. That's what my
I feel
podcast is
like
called.
the
Called
only
Unpack.
packing I'm going to be doing is packing my bags and
No,
getting
we're
out of
gonna,
here, going back to Bali,
no, we're gonna
and then
unpack.
I'll be unpacking the very little that I take with me. Some board shorts and a singlet,
Oh man,
not bintang, a Changu singlet, and I'm there.
man, if you don't
Actually, you
unpack,
know what? It would be a sacred singlet if you got some bloody merch
well, you're in
sorted.
charge. You're
So
in charge of that now, bro. So you make sure you make that happen.
yeah, we'll just drop ship to everyone. But anyway, we can do all that. And for those that are listening, just go to the link in the bio. Links in the bio. Everything. Connect with Dan. Connect with Sacred. There'll be a discount for Sacred on there. And then also connect with the show, the Carlos Rillo show. You'll see all the snippets on there. And also, like we were saying before, like we want to be known because we want to plant those seeds. So if you're watching this and you love it, one, go follow it. Two, leave a comment somewhere, like even DM one of us and say this was great. But also share the snippets that I put up, because that's where people learn. Like some of the the reels in the past few weeks have got like 5, 6, almost 10,000 views. That's where we learn and share this information. So we'd really appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of everything that we do. And much love until we see you next time.
Ciao, bro. Hey.